So, I'm legally blind, if you couldn't tell by that graceful entrance. I don't love the term legally blind, though. I prefer visually retarded. Yeah. Michael, I love that high Asian joke because I too use my condition to hide my highness. So I moved to New York once I stopped being able to drive, but those last few years of driving, adventurous as hell. Yeah, I was treating stoplights like suggestions, like speed limits or child support. Yeah, you think texting and driving is dangerous. Try guessing and driving. You know, sometimes I guess correctly, sometimes I met a family of 4. I know. But you know, it's a high stakes game show. And the grand prize is making it home. You know, it is fun how much I get away with as a blind guy. You know, one time I'm bar hopping with a buddy and we head to our 4th bar and we get to the bouncer and he's like, "You guys are too drunk, you can't come in here." And I'm like, I'm not drunk, I'm blind. And he's like, "Oh my God, I'm so sorry." Go right in. Yeah, he quickly went from security guard to Make-A-Wish volunteer. So I enter and he proceeds to not let my buddy in. And I'm like, "Sorry, Adam, got a jet." Try being more disabled next time. So when it came to learning how to use the cane, you have to do mobility training. And on my first session, I'm walking with my instructor, and this guy comes up to us and is like, "Holy shit, you're a real life blind guy?" I know, right? And so we're walking along, he whips his phone out, taking a video, as if I'm like a Pokemon spawning in Central Park. And my instructor's this old white woman who's like, "Can you leave us alone?" And we're walking along, and he's like, "You know I'm a black man. You don't even know that, do you?" He's like, "That doesn't even matter to you." And I'm like, "No, it doesn't, but I still know you're a black man." So we get to the intersection, and he's like, "Can we take a selfie together?" And I'm like, "Sure, why not?" So he comes around to take the pic, and then he turns and gives me a big kiss on the cheek. And that's when I'm like, you know what? I love mobility training. You know, then from there, you know, I was kind of scared going out on my own without my instructor, but I gotta say, it's fucking empowering. It's like having a second cock. You know, only it's longer and knows where it's going. Yeah, I'm walking down the street like, I'm walking here. You know, and everyone scatters. I feel like Moses. You know, but instead of parting the Red Sea, I'm parting finance bros. You know, one time I'm walking down the street and I accidentally hit a cop. Yeah, now there's trouble in Murray Hill. The cop turns around and apologizes to me. I'm like, holy shit, I'm above the law. Like, I think I can get away with anything. You know, that's why I think I'd make the best serial killer. Like, come on, who's gonna suspect me? You know, I can see it now. The cops show up at my door, and I'm like, "Officer, I didn't see anything." And they're like, "Well, then how do you explain all that dried blood in your cane?" And I'm like, "Oh, you're right. You got me. You know, the next day, articles everywhere read, "The NYPD get the blind Bundy." So the dating apps are brutal, but try doing them blind. I know, I'm probably the only person who exclusively read the prompts. But you know, if I matched with a girl, I would screenshot the photo and send it to my buddy's group text. Why not outsource my shallowness? I matched with this nurse one time, and the day before our date, she canceled and was like, "You know, I don't know how I feel about the whole blind thing." And I'm like, "Wait, aren't nurses supposed to be good people? Like, you wipe people's asses, I just run into shit." You know, the actual date logistics were tricky, so I settled on a go-to first date spot, and I would get there early, sit at the bar, that way she had to find me. And I would show her photo to the bartender, that way he could give me the heads up when she shows up. So when she enters, the bartender's like, target acquired. Yeah, it's like I'm running a whole CIA operation and he's my top field agent. So if the take went well, I'd be like, you want to come back and meet my guide dog? Yeah, he's my second field agent. Yeah. Who needs game when you have a federally funded lab? Thanks, guys. I've been Alex Reese.